his Lord. And now, the host of Aaron's Hour, Aaron Phillips.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It is Saturday, April 19th. Did you all pay your taxes on time? Did you pay your taxes on time?
I got my taxes in.
I have an extension filed because the company that does mine is so far behind that the IRS will have to wait to get their money for me. Anyway, welcome. Thank you for watching Aaron's Hour live from Virginia Beach, WVBV TV, an affiliation of WWDB TV back there in Vegas with John. I'm Aaron Phillips. Sitting with me today is Steve Borden. He's a retired captain from the U.S. Navy. He's with Tidewater Community College. He's a director, Center for Military and Veterans Education. His business card is about this big, by the way, with those titles. So we'll get to Steve, and we'll do all of that after break as always. But first, and as always, thank you for watching. You're watching us on Facebook, whether it's on Aaron's Hour show page. Thank you very much. WVBV TV, Virginia Beach, or WWDB TV, Las Vegas. You got choices. And you know what? On YouTube, you got the same choices. But if you like Roku in a couple of days, everything is there on Roku under the WWDB TV channel on Roku. You have a plethora of options. That's our magic word around here is plethora, by the way. Not that I get paid by the plethora for every time I say plethora, but they get the idea. So check us out. I am monitoring the chat room as always. If you're watching us, of course, on YouTube, put your messages out there. John will grab them, put them on the screen for me. And of course, I've got my phone up here and able to watch what you've got to say here in the chat room. Things are quiet here in Virginia Beach this week, but I know back in Vegas, you have WrestleMania happening back there. I was talking with John. I know all my buddies out there. They've been posting videos. Matthew's out there, Matt and Garth. He was all over Instagram because of TNA wrestling that was in there. And by the way, congratulations to Chris Bay of TNA, who suffered a really severe injury about 180 days ago where he was literally paralyzed. But he appeared at the TNA show a couple of days ago, actually came out walking. So thank you for that. Thank you, Chris. Keep the healing going. Anyway, we got a lot to talk about. Steve is here today because he had really nothing to do on a Saturday. So he said, let me see if we can go by. No, this is the part of the continuing series with Tidewater Community College, From Here Go Anywhere, because we've highlighted many different things within the community of Tidewater that folks and students can take advantage of. Now, what's really cool about Tidewater, they have multiple campuses around the Hampton Roads area. How many are there? Four, right? Four campuses. Who are they?
Portsmouth, Norfolk, Virginia Beach, and Chesapeake.
Good. I'm glad you said it, not me, because I always mess one up. I always thought Suffolk had a branch up there. I don't know why, but I always add Suffolk. Maybe it's like wishing. I don't know. But here's the best part. It is, in theory, it's like a commuter school because there's no dorms. But let me tell you, the environment on each of the campuses, because I've been blessed to actually visit each of the campuses over the last number of months, you would not know that it's not a traditional style college because of the community. But the best part is no matter where you're watching this from, whether you're back in the West Coast somewhere, if you're overseas somewhere, they love students online. That's what it's all about. If you can't get to the campus, there are a plethora of options, of course, that you could take. And today we'll focus with Steve on the other side of the break about what the school has done in the 3 years you said you're there now?
I've been there a little over 3 years.
And how would you describe your job with them so I don't screw it up when I introduce you?
There are a plethora of
responsibilities. Right. He's got it. But you focus on the veterans of the community,
military
right?
Connected population, as we like to call
it. And that's well needed. And we've talked about that need for veteran support many times across all the different shows. So I'm excited to hear about what you have to offer. And we'll just go from there. All right. As always, though, you know what? I do have some stories. Let's get to it. It's time for Vegas Unwrapped 2.0.
With a nod to the past and an eye to the future, here is Aaron Phillips with Vegas Unwrapped 2.0.
All right, there you have it. Last week, I hope you guys enjoyed the show with me down in Orlando. We had it was the Carlos Leach 6th Annual Golf Classic, raising money for the YMCA of South Orlando. But I'm back in studio today, of course, and here we go. We got some good stories. Now, one of the things I like to share, especially coming out of Vegas, are casino winners, right? People who win and come away with money. And what's really interesting is, like, since doing this here, there's a lot of people that win lotteries and mega pots and all that out this way because of the state lottery system,
Absolutely.
which Vegas, of course, doesn't have because the casinos want every penny going into the machines. So here's what's interesting. Lottery luck strikes twice, not once, but twice, for a Virginia woman who previously won $100,000 in a scratch game. Up in Concord, Virginia, most people winning the lottery once is a lifetime. But Sharon Godsey of Concord, that dream had become reality not once, but twice. Her most recent win was March 31st. It was a Powerball drawing, earning her $100,000. She said, quote, "I just hit the floor that her knees collapsed," Godsey told Virginia lottery officials. First of all, she matched 4 of the first 5 numbers and the Powerball number. Now, while that normally would only yield 50 grand, which I don't think anybody would sneeze at anyway, she had opted to spend an extra $1 on Powerball, a choice that doubled her prize to $100,000. Her win is remarkable, not only because of the odds, but because she had already hit a similar jackpot back in 2013. And that's pretty cool. Also won $100,000. And the odd, you know what the odds of winning the jackpot here is? It's pulling all 6 numbers. It's a 1 in 292.2 million chance of winning, all 6, while the overall odds of winning any Powerball are 1 in 25.
So lightning can strike twice.
Lightning can strike twice. Just don't stand near anybody that really got struck by a lightning, because that would really not be good. All right. Hey, if you're a Patti LaBelle fan, and who isn't nowadays, she is good at Patti LaBelle, SWV, Keith Sweat performing at 2025 Hampton Jazz and Music Festival. So you're going to want to check that out. That's June 27th. Through the 29th, it is the Hampton Jazz and Music Festival is returning to the Coliseum. See, that's such a misnomer, because to me, the Coliseum was out on Long Island, where the Islanders used to play, the Nassau Coliseum. But anyway, I digress, as I tend to do on the show. Tickets go on sale to the public yesterday. They went on sale for pre-sale, and then pre-sale starting at 10 a.m. Thursday, April 17th. So all the sales started last week. Look, here's the bottom line. Go to hamptonjazzandmusicfestival.com for all your ticket information. That's hamptonjazzandmusicfestival.com and get your tickets. All right. I like lists, but I'm going to hold that one for last. All right. Now, being in the Navy, right? Retired. 20 years?
Almost 30.
Almost 30.
29 plus.
Well, in metric, that would be 20. No, I'm only kidding. So how often did you fly? Like, are you piloted also? Are you a pilot too?
The first 20 years, I was a pilot.
Okay.
And did a lot of flying.
So I got to imagine you're pretty up on the news and things we hear about what's going on. What is going on with wildlife and airplanes? Okay. Here's why I asked you that. Okay. I'm in Orlando last week, and I read a story that a plane crashed somewhere overseas because a co-pilot was holding a box with a penguin in it that belonged to a passenger. And it was like a private plane, 6-seater, whatever it was. And the penguin got loose, moved around in the box, and therefore ended up kicking a couple of the controls on the plane, went down. Okay. My plane, leaving Norfolk to go to Orlando last week, got delivered. We were all on the plane. We're ready to go. Oh, we got to wait, because apparently the plane coming in was hit by a bird hit it. So they had to inspect it. And thank God everything was fine. We were delayed 20 minutes. They did a nice job, though, getting us there on time. There was another bird I saw a couple of weeks ago. But, Mr. Pilot, have you ever heard of a rabbit taking down a plane?
That's a new one.
Rabbit. Okay, you ready for this one? Passenger plane makes emergency landing after rabbit gets sucked into engine, causing a fireball. That's right. United Airlines plane was forced to make an emergency landing this past week. They were taking off from Denver to go up to Edmonton, Canada. Okay. Now, fortunately or unfortunately, what was reported was the passengers recalled hearing a loud bang and feeling significant vibration just after takeoff, but the aircraft continued to climb. Every few moments, there was a backfire coming from the engine, a giant fireball then behind it. And when I looked at the story, there is a picture, a passenger took a picture of the fireball. I don't even know how they got off the ground, let alone continuing to ascend. There was a fireball behind it. Passenger Scott Wolf told Good Morning America, everyone in the plane then starting to panic. You think? But fortunately, the Boeing 737 safely landed upon its return back to Denver. Obviously, everything was fine. They put the passengers on a new plane and they eventually took off. And the pilot said, and I quote, "Rabbit through number 2, that'll do it." pilot said. So we got rabbits, we got birds, penguins. What the heck is going on? Now, you can make any other assessment you'd like based on the political climate today, but that's what I found quite interesting. All right, last piece of news. Now, people around the world. Now, are you originally from this area?
No.
Where are you originally from?
That's the hardest question anyone can ask me.
I mean, I know. We talked about it before I went on the air. But
I've lived in 6 countries and 11 states, and I don't know which one I'm from.
So let me ask you the easier question. Where are you not from? Now, it might be a shorter list. But we know he's got roots in Jersey. I'll go on that part, as does his wife, by the way. We were all talking about Jersey stuff before. But there are a lot of famous people that were born and raised in Virginia. Athletes, celebrities, you name it. So I found a list today, which I thought was quite interesting, of the top 10 famous singers who are from Virginia. And I'm going to do like the old David Letterman list. So I'm going to go from 10 to 1 because the bottom couple, I really don't know who they are, to be honest with you. I have to stop looking here for the camera. That's the camera. I'm sorry. I still got to use that new camera. Anyway, so number 10, a gentleman who was born in Petersburg, Virginia. Now, geographically, because I don't know where all these towns are in relation to where we are yet, where's Petersburg, Virginia in relation to where we are, Virginia?
It's northwest of here. It's close to Richmond.
So about an hour, roughly?
Thereabouts.
Okay. Trey Songz. He's number 10 on this list. He is one of modern R&B's most celebrated artists. So that's Trey. Number 9 was somebody from Springfield, Virginia, Dave Grohl. He's a rock legend whose contributions to music are both profound. He is powerhouse drummer for Nirvana, et cetera, et cetera. So he's number 9 from Springfield, Virginia. Now, of course, if you're from Jersey, we all know there's a Springfield, Springfield, New Jersey, right, Lori? Springfield. Did you ever go visit Springfield? No? Sorry, I wouldn't either. Anyway, number 6. No, wait, I think I missed the list. Hold on. Where do we go? All right, number 8. Also from Portsmouth. Portsmouth, I found in this list, was quite popular for our singers that have come here. Known as the queen of R&B, Ruth Brown was born in Portsmouth. She was a pioneering artist who helped shape the sound of rhythm and blues in its early days. She was singing in the 1950s. Number 7, from Franklin, Virginia. Where's Franklin?
Franklin's very close.
Franklin's
also down here in the southeastern section.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I'm so glad I have Mr. Geography over here because I'm still learning this place. I'm still learning how to get around this office here. Clarence Carter. He was born in Franklin, Virginia, is a soul and blues icon. His music is steeped in raw emotion and storytelling. All right, here we go. Number 6, Missy Elliott, also from Portsmouth, Virginia. She's native there, trailblazing artist who transformed the landscape of hip hop and R&B with her groundbreaking creativity. She emerged in the industry in the late 1990s. So Missy Elliott. Number 5, born Terrence Thornton, but Virginia Beach native Pusha T is a lyrical titan whose sharp wordplay and vivid storytelling have set him apart as one of hip hop's finest. I don't know who Pusha T is, but he made the list. I'm going to give him credit for it. Number 4, if I can turn the pages. Number 4 from, I practiced that one too, Tappahannock, Virginia. Chris Brown, that's a familiar name to everybody. He emerged as a teen sensation in 2005. The next gentleman, very popular down in this area. As a matter of fact, he was supposed to do the Something in the Water. That whole made national news and everything. But Pharrell Williams, creator Tour de Force, who has reshaped the sound of modern music and culture, singer, songwriter, producer, in creating some of the most memorable tracks. So Pharrell Williams. Number 2, I didn't know this, from Mechanicsville, Virginia, Jason Mraz. That's a name that people are familiar. Where's Mechanicsville?
Mechanicsville. That one's, I'm having trouble placing.
Mechanicsville is also in Pennsylvania, isn't there?
There is a Mechanicsburg.
Oh, Mechanicsburg, Bergville. They all sound the same to me. I'm from Jersey. What do I know? Number 1 on this list is probably the most famous of them all. See, he just looked over my shoulder, saw number 1 from Newport News, the great Ella Fitzgerald. Number 1 from Newport News, First Lady of Song. So there you have it, just in case you want to know who the top 10 singers were here from our beautiful part of Virginia. All right, that does it for our first segment. When we come back on the other side, we're going to start talking with Steve about some serious stuff and try to help him figure out just exactly what he does for TCC in overseeing helping our veterans with their education upon wanting to continue doing what they want to do. You're watching Aaron's Hour. Don't go anywhere. John says we'll be right back.
With an award-winning and dedicated faculty and 4 beautiful campuses, Tidewater Community College proudly serves nearly 25,000 students a year, 48% of whom pursue degrees that let them transfer to 4-year institutions. At Tidewater Community College, 65% of our students attend part-time, so they can earn while they learn, and 1/3 of our students are military-related. Enroll today at Tidewater Community College. From here, go anywhere.
Founded in 2021 by husband and wife duo Jason and Melissa Taylor, Rustic Reclaimed Design is a small business proudly owned by a woman and disabled Navy veteran. Rustic Reclaimed Design specializes in custom handmade and laser engraved products. By combining craftsmanship and creativity, Rustic Reclaimed Design delivers unique, high-quality items. Whether it is a personalized gift, something for the home, or a custom design, their mission is to create a piece that brings your vision to life. Visit us on Facebook by searching Rustic Reclaimed Design. Send an email to sales@rusticreclaimdesign.com or simply call 757-567-2790. Rustic Reclaimed Design is where we craft connections one unique piece at a time. It seems like the cost of keeping the lights on goes up way too often. Do you wish there was something you can do to control the energy costs in your own home to keep the lights on? I want you to Think Energy. Think Energy has partnerships across the country that takes advantage of solar farms. Solar farms actually reduce the dependency on your local electric company by having part of your electricity actually come from these solar farms, which in turn reduces your costs. To learn more, contact Preston Pearson by dialing 229-291-8329 or send an email to cp3foralltime@gmail.com. There is no better time to think energy. I just found out if I keep asking where Steve is from, he's going to kill me. It's one of those stories. I don't know why. Anyway, welcome back to Aaron's Hour. That's right. Great Saturday. By the way, before I forget, tonight's the last night of Passover. So everybody celebrating Passover. Hope you had a good one. Of course, tomorrow, Easter. Happy Easter to everybody. And if you're wrapping up spring break this weekend, mom and dad celebrate on Monday when the kids go back to school. Okay. Joining me officially, let me read this because I think his credentials really speak for themselves, and I'm honored to have him here. And before I say anything, thank you for your service that you've done for everybody.
It was a privilege.
Before and now, of course, extending. So, as I mentioned earlier, Steve, who I found out his call insignia was Lizzie, and I'll leave it at that. If you want to know what it is, message me and we'll figure it out. John in the studio thinks you're part of the Witness Protection Program. That's why you can't say where you're from. Anyway, so Steve is a retired Navy captain, was working with military-connected students since his retirement in 2012. During his 29 years in the Navy, he served principally as a helicopter pilot, but also had the opportunity to serve as naval attaché to the U.S. embassies in Quito,
Ecuador.
Okay, I always want to make sure I pronounce it right. And in Santiago, Chile. Finished his career as the founding commanding officer of the Naval Reserve Officers Training Corps at Arizona State University, the Sun Devils, and then transitioned to assisting military and veteran students as the founding director of the Pat Tillman Veteran Center at Ada. Man, I remember when that story broke when he was killed. Captain Borden joined Tidewater Community College in late 2021, coming from National University in La Jolla, California, where he served as Associate Vice President for Military Programs. But you notice that doesn't really say what he does at TCC. That's why we're here. This is kind of like an intervention with him to try to help him figure out what he does. But no, seriously, welcome. Thank you so much for coming in today. I appreciate it. What's really been cool for me in working with TCC and is seeing all the different facets of the college itself. I mean, we talked with the alumni group a few weeks ago. Of course, we talked about the school. Now we get to dive into what the school does for military, for veterans in this community and really abroad, because of the internet capability that people have to connect.
Right. Well, it really makes sense in this community. I mean, a third of our students are military connected.
No surprise.
They're either still serving in the military, or they're veterans, or a spouse or family member.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense. Hampton Roads, largest naval station in the world, is right here. And it shouldn't be surprising that the majority of those military connected students were affiliated with the Navy.
And what's nice about Tidewater, when anybody enrolls, but of course in particular to veterans, you can get a degree in something that gives you the skill set immediately to make an impact in the community.
Right. So this is an interesting part of that military student. There are fantastic ways to leverage what you did in the military and go into a civilian career doing the same thing. But a lot of these students, when they went into the military, they went into their recruiter and they took the ASVAB score, found out, what they were qualified to do in the service.
Right.
I think you've got someone here who's not necessarily the brightest person. He was an ordnanceman, and the AOs don't
John,
necessarily.
he's talking to you, John. Not me. You, John.
The ordnancemen don't always have the highest scores, although they do a job that is incredibly difficult. But that's what they had the option of doing when they were in the military. And then when they get out, they want to do something else.
Sure.
And so how do you leverage the skills they picked up in the service to go into a new career?
Right. And that's got to be challenging. I mean, because a veteran comes out after all those years with a certain skill. How are they open-minded enough? Or are they the ones coming saying, look, Stephen, I did this for 20 years. I mopped toilets for 20 years. It's time I want to do something else. Are they coming to you that way with that open mind saying?
Some of them do.
Okay.
They come, working in this space now for nearly 13 years. One of the greatest things I've heard is when you've met one veteran, you've met one veteran.
Right.
Each one
Okay.
of them has a different story.
Sure.
They're a unique individual, but they tend to fall into certain categories. We have those that do know where they want to go, and
Okay.
they just want to make sure they're on the right path. We have other ones who get out of the service, and the only thing they know is they weren't going to re-enlist.
Okay.
And they really don't know where they're going from
Gotcha.
there. And so we're set up at the Center for Military and Veteran Education to take either one of those two ends of the spectrum and help them figure it out.
What's the average age of the veteran that comes to the center looking for that kind of guidance?
They've probably done 6 or 8 years in the service. So
Okay.
they're in their mid-20s
Okay,
to
wow.
maybe 30.
Really?
But we have the other end of the spectrum too. We have folks who are retiring and getting out. We've had senior chiefs come into our center. They've been in the service for over 20 years and are now still looking for that same assistance.
Interesting. I'm surprised at how young they're coming in because I forget that they can go in so early, like right after high school, and they put their 6 years in, and they're only in their mid-20s. So holy cow! So I went to Penn State. My wife went to Syracuse. Whether small campuses, big campuses, whatever, the needs for supporting the military community is so important. Why is it so important for college campuses to be involved that way?
So because that military student is a non-traditional student.
Okay.
Right? They did not come in right out of high school.
Mhm.
And particularly at TCC, being a community college, there's oftentimes some other challenges. Either they didn't have the best preparation in high school,
Okay.
or they're very uncertain about whether they're going to do well in college or not. And so the community college seems like the right fit for them.
Mhm.
It's our job to help them get over some of those initial concerns they have, help
Right.
them get on that pathway. If they need some refresher in the math and English skills, math is usually the biggest challenge.
I have a degree in math, and look what I'm doing for a living. Okay, then.
We all write or read to one degree or another.
Sure.
But if you're not in a math class, you're probably not doing math unless it has to do with your job.
Yeah, we're just calculating your
So,
paycheck. That's really all we
yeah,
need to worry about.
And so helping them through that math
Sure.
anxiety and
Okay.
helping them figure that out.
So how, what is there anything specific, because we are such, like you said, a veteran-based community with the naval base and everything here, are there any specific needs and things that we're seeing that come up specific maybe to our area?
Yes, a lot of them are not from this area, but they're getting out of the Navy or they're getting out of the military here in this area. And so they have trouble with some of the very basics. Am I a resident of the
Ooh.
Commonwealth of Virginia? Do I get in-state tuition and fees?
Okay.
And so even those sorts of basic things coming into the college environment are things that we have to help them with.
You touched on it early on during the first question I asked, but I want to delve a little deeper into this because you were in the military for nearly 30 years. You were used to a way of life. You've traveled
Yes.
all over, and I'll use the word discipline for the sake of another descriptive word. But you knew you were routine for 30 years. But when that ended for you, maybe you can answer it from your own experience. What kind of challenges does someone, when they exit out of military, face coming back to civilian life?
It is a different culture.
Okay.
And I love this story. There was a student that I worked with at Arizona State University who had served in the Marine Corps.
Okay.
And he came to me one day. Actually, he didn't come to me. He called me on the phone. He was doing study abroad in Germany.
Okay.
And he said, Steve, I'm having a great time over here. And I was like, okay, the language must be going well. And he says, well, no, I'm in a part of Germany here where the dialect is just a little bit different. The accent is different. You've lived in New Jersey.
Yes.
You know what the accent
We
is.
know accents, don't we?
And so he was like, I'm actually struggling with the language more than I expected. And I said, okay, I've got to ask then. If you're struggling with the language and you're in a foreign country, why are you having such a good time? And he says, because I'm a foreigner here. And I was like, okay, you're still not helping me. It's study abroad. Of course, you're a foreigner.
Sure.
What is really going on? And he said,
Right.
well, I'm a foreigner here, but it's okay to feel like a foreigner
Okay. It's
because I
interesting.
am one.
Right. Okay.
He says,
knew
I
his place
should
in that.
not feel like a foreigner when I'm on the campus in Tempe, Arizona.
Gotcha.
And that's
Wow.
when I started unpacking that a little bit. When you go to a foreign country, what makes you feel like you're not at home?
Everything.
The food's
Everything.
different. The smells are different.
Right.
The dress is different.
The
The
streets are
social
different.
customs and norms are
Yeah.
different.
Wow.
And so when you get out of the service, the dress is different. The social customs and norms are different.
Wow.
The food is different. The smells are different.
Sure.
Particularly if you've been on a ship and you get off the ship, the smells are different. They're fortunately better in many cases, but and so you live through that, but oftentimes you get out of the military and you go back home.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have this weird thing going on where you're at home and you're around a lot of familiar surroundings,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, you feel like you're in another country.
Mm. Wow.
And that can be very disconcerting.
Yeah. I would never think of it that way, but the comparison to being a foreigner in a foreign land makes sense, and you shouldn't feel that way coming back home.
Right.
But wow, that's crazy. Being in the military's got to give individuals a meaning in life, right?
It does. And that is another aspect of that challenge, that sense of doing something that's worthwhile.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a lot of student veterans come to me and say, I feel like I'm being selfish. I'm going to school and I'm only concerned about me.
Wow.
And they miss that sense of, so, how do we help them with that? Getting involved in community service, getting
Mhm.
involved in student clubs, getting involved in something bigger than yourself is another one of those things that we try and offer the opportunity for.
So this might be outside the box question for the services provided, but someone comes in that exact scenario, fresh, first time they're coming in to see things. The mental side of this, the pressure, the stress, and all of that. Does the program in any way through TCC offer support in talking with somebody to help understand what's going on
We don't have counseling specifically
Okay.
in terms of the medical
Mhm.
medical sense of counseling. We do have two people on our staff
Okay.
that are called Veritas. It's the veteran education. They specialize in helping talk to veterans who are in this transition. The 7 community colleges in Virginia with the highest population of veterans get money from the state
Mhm.
in order to have these positions, and they're
Okay.
specifically for helping veterans in transition. So we have those folks, and they're also well connected with all the community resources.
Okay.
So if we're talking to somebody and we're able to help them with the educational
Sure.
pathway stuff, but we're sensing that this challenge may be a little bit deeper than that,
Okay.
we can
You can make
easily
some
connect
referrals.
them with the right kind of services in the community. And sometimes that's the VA. Sometimes it's the vet center, which is VA, but not at the VA hospital.
Okay.
And then sometimes it's other services. In the
Gotcha.
community.
Vet services here, very supportive of our.
They are
very
very
veteran
supportive.
community.
Hampton Roads has a very strong veteran population, and of course the maritime industries here pull a lot of
Sure.
former Navy folks into that.
I met with a client down at the shipyard a couple of months ago to discuss some business, and I was so impressed as a guy who's never been around stuff like that. Folks, you got to understand what goes on in a shipyard just for repairs. I mean, I walked onto this to the property. I can't believe, and I know that's a small part of everything that's down in downtown Norfolk in that area. But boy, I was so impressed with all that. Anyway, we have a couple of minutes before our next break. So, as I warned you before I went on the
Sure.
air, I'm now changing gears on the captain. Going to ask some of those other fun questions I'd like to ask, just so we get to know him personally a little bit more than what we're talking about as far as the business side. So here you go. These are really tough questions. You're not allowed to phone a friend. This is not Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, so this is all on you. First thing that comes to
No
mind.
lifelines. here.
No
Okay.
lifelines. I need the first thing that comes to mind when I ask you, who is your favorite actor of all time on the male side of the spectrum? Who's your favorite male actor?
Man.
I get paid to ask the tough questions. I want you to know.
Yeah, that was not one that I expected.
Nope, that's why I asked.
Probably Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood. Go ahead, punk. Make my day. Favorite actress? Let's talk about the female side. Don't say Lizzie Borden, because I'll have people jumping off the show searching.
Actually, she would probably be one of my favorites up there. But I would have to say, oh come on, she was from New Jersey. I'm looking for some help here. Can I phone a
All
friend?
right, yeah, you can. Since it's a Jersey-related answer you're looking for, yes, you can phone a friend with Lori here in the studio. What movie? Show? Give us a. Let's see if we can give her a hint. You're trying to play charades here, not Snooki.
Oh,
No, it's not Snooki.
No. She's on some of the.
We'll come back to
Good
it.
grief. Brooke Shields.
Oh, Brooks. Wow. Okay, Captain.
Yeah, showing
No,
my age.
Yeah, no,
That's
listen.
it.
Blue Lagoon, that's all I got to say. Anyway, and Jeans, right? Didn't she? Jordache Jeans, right? And she was married to Andre Agassi for a while. Okay, now, what is your favorite all-time movie? So that, let me set the stage for you. You see it's on your favorite TV channel streaming service. You turn off your phone because you don't want to be bothered. You say, Lori, let's go sit down. Let's get some adult beverages and snacks. What is that movie for you that
Well, I
you
already
don't?
told you who my favorite actor was.
I know, but
And it's a movie she won't sit down and watch
Uh-oh.
with me.
Dirty Harry?
Hey, Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Good, the bad, the. Why won't you watch that with him?
Because half the movie doesn't say anything.
Oh, that's what makes it good.
She
isn't it?
loves the opening with no dialogue for the longest period of time. So, anyhow.
So I guess silent movies wouldn't be up your alley either, huh, Lloyd? No. Okay.
I'm not that old.
No. Sorry. No. I just love dating myself, one way or the other. All right. Favorite genre of music that you like to listen to?
Probably blues, which is why I like some of the
You like
names
that
and
list?
so forth that are on here.
Yeah, that's good. All right. We're going to stop right there. I'll let him off the hook and stew about some more questions on the other side of the break. You're watching Aaron's Hour. We're going to learn more about what Tidewater Community College does to support our veteran community here. You know what they say? From here, grow anywhere. We'll be right back.
Have you ever wanted to dress like a Hall of Fame broadcaster, but didn't know where to begin? In 2018, Aaron Phillips was inducted in the Las Vegas Entertainers Hall of Fame, and The Voice was born. Aaron has been part of many successful podcast programs, and branding those programs plays a vital role. Visit thevoice.qbstores.com and order the latest embroidered products featuring the logos of many of Aaron's shows. Discounts and flat shipping rates are available on all orders, regardless of quantity, on men's, women's, and kids' apparel, and many accessories. Visit thevoice.qbstores.com and let Aaron's voice speak to you.
To reveal means to make something, secret or hidden, publicly or generally known. The phrase, covering the wound doesn't stop the hurt, can be applied to any situation and is based on individual experiences. This phrase is not a solution, but our goal is that it inspires you to acknowledge the wounds you've been covering far too long. These words are meant to help you to unlock your inner strength to begin the process of self-healing. Whether you like hoodies, t-shirts, hats, or jogger sets, go to reveal-llc.com now and order what you need to remind you that it's okay to rip off the Band-Aid to begin to heal.
Hi there, we're back. John usually give me a countdown. Anyway, no, I'm only kidding. Aaron is Howard here. I have retired Navy Captain Steve Borden with me. He is in charge of the military programs over at TCC for veterans and education. I know I'm kind of just wrapping all that up into an easier description. We were just talking about movies during the break about what we do. And we were just, you caught us, and we were talking about Minecraft, which is the movie with Jack Black where the kids are going in and quote unquote destroying the theaters or throwing popcorn and everything. And when I heard this come out earlier in the week, the thought in my head was exactly what you said literally before we came back on it. Share what you said to me to everybody
Have we
about this.
forgotten about Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Yeah. Rocky Horror Picture, the throwing of the toast and the water gun. There's a reason I only showed that movie at midnight, of course. So we've been around this block before, right?
That's right.
And now it's only popcorn.
There's
I
nothing
think only
new under the sun.
no. Well, what do they all say? Whatever goes out of style comes back 20, 30, 40 years later. We did it already, y'all. Now they're talking about they should raise the prices of popcorn for this Minecraft
right.
because then people may think twice about throwing it all over the place. They'll still throw it. I know I would.
Just take off the butter and the salt.
That's
It'd be
probably
easier
the,
to
you know
clean
what? That's probably the biggest problem is because a lot of people get the butter and salt. I don't know that I'd want to be sweeping that stuff. You'd have to go in with a snow shovel to get that stuff off the floors. But anyway, that was a great point about Rocky Horror Picture Show. All right. So you get the military personnel retired coming in. All right. So let's talk about what advantages they have by getting involved at TCC. You talked about a couple of them.
Right.
Let's really get into that. Somebody watching right now who's military, tell us what are some of the and by the way, hi, my wifey Eileen is out there watching. She must be really bored. She doesn't watch anything I do.
So one of the advantages is that the GI Bill that is out there right now, the post 9/11 GI Bill is fantastic, but it's 36 months worth of benefits.
Okay.
And a lot of people are, starting at a place and planning on going to a place ultimately in their academic journey where they need more than 36 months of benefits. So Tidewater Community College, you have some other options. It's a great place to start and not use your GI Bill benefit right away. There are other ways of getting community college funded, and it's the least expensive part of your academic journey. So we can help provide folks that kind of guidance and advice, and give them some options of what to think through.
So, all right, let's talk about your transition, because I believe what's important when people talk about experiences, we talk about what people do. I always ask a lot of business owners, like, why did you start this business? What was the aha moment?
Right.
Okay. For you, you had to live this as well. When you were in the military for almost 30 years, you had to make the same transition that we've been describing for the last half hour. Right. What was it like for you?
So I have two answers to that. One of them is a little bit more flippant, if you will, or off the cuff. And that is that I haven't transitioned out of the military yet. I'm just in a halfway house. Okay. Because I am still working full time with military students and veterans. And so I have not completely transitioned to something that is completely separate from the military.
Gotcha.
So in that sense, I get a chance to stay connected with what it was that I miss.
Okay.
Peeling that back a little bit farther, though, when I was in the military, every single day, I knew what my mission was. I knew who was on my team, and I knew what it was that I was supposed to be doing. And when you get out, you kind of lose that focus. You wonder, what is my mission now? And you kind of have to create it yourself. And so being able to work in the military education space, the veteran education space, it does give me a sense of purpose. I am doing something bigger than myself. It's an aspect of continued service.
Okay.
And as I look at what our students are doing, a lot of them are choosing to go back into career fields where they are serving other people. So, whether they're going into education, whether they're going into medical things, whether they're going into, counseling services or something like that, they're choosing career fields. And it speaks to the DNA of that military person.
So I want to let everybody know that TCC traditionally does 2-year programs.
That's correct.
But a lot of times, like an associate's degree kind of level. And then a lot of the students there can then take that and transition to a traditional 4-year college. But in the 2 years, though, a lot of the students can get the education and certification, everything they need to not necessarily have to transition to a 4-year.
Right.
After the 2 years, they get what they need and they can go out and start that other career. I just want to make sure that people understand that. TCC.org, right? That's the main website. TCC.edu. Jeez Louise. TCC.edu. All the information is there. Also, you can find it out on Facebook and Instagram for TCC in general. But of course, just go under their tabs and you'll find all the different programs. So given all of your own experience, there's always the one end of the spectrum to the other, and I'd like to ask, okay? Transition of any kind is never easy, whether it's into retirement, like my wife, from education, not, whatever. You had to have, of course, one difficult moment, I'm sure. And then on the flip side to that, there must have been some incident, because I like the funny side of life. There has to have been one incident where that happened and that you just went home and just laughed your ass off with Lori said, I can't believe this happened to me. Give me one of each side.
Okay. So kind of an embarrassing one at work.
Is this the funny one?
This is a funny one.
Okay. All right. We'll start funny.
I mean, it's a story about myself.
Okay.
But it's something that I did that in hindsight was kind of foolish. My boss asked me to send out an email to a certain group of students that we wanted to try and engage with that were having some challenges. We weren't sure whether they would be retained at the institution or not. And so he asked me to send out an email to them. And I drafted that email like I knew that I could, and I sent it out. And a couple of weeks later, he says, so what kind of responses have we had from this? And I said, well, I've had about a half dozen students reach back out to me, but I said, that's probably 5% of the students that I sent it to. And he says, well, what was the open rate on the email? Or, you had a call to action in there. What was the click rate on that? And I just gave him this look like, you just told me to send out an email. I mean, I know how to get the students' email. I know that I don't, use them all publicly. I know how to put them in the BCC line so that, kind of maintaining some privacy there. I said, but I sent it out he says, you mean you didn't go to our communications folk and have it sent out through our platform that, we can see how many people opened up the email, and I was like, no idea those folks were on my team and that I could leverage them. I was director of the center.
Right.
And this was not at TCC, by the way, but I was director of the center. And I had my team, and in my mind, that's kind of the lifelines of the ship, so to speak, of who I was allowed to use
Right.
and what I was supposed to do. And so this is one of those things that, like I say, was.
But I bet you never made that mistake again.
I did not.
See, that's how well it works. It educated you. All right, so that's the lighter side. Give me a difficult transition.
There are.
There's probably a few, but
Yeah. So.
how difficult?
On the professional side,
Okay.
professional development, I
Gotcha.
really care about my staff.
Mhm.
And it was about the second year that I was doing evaluations on my staff. And I
Okay.
was trying to figure out, how do I help these people develop professionally? And that's the first time that it dawned on me that in the civilian sector, you can mentor people if they want it. You can help them advance professionally if they seek your help,
Right,
but helping people advance professionally
right.
is not part of the job description, if you will, of a
Mhm.
supervisor in the
Mhm.
civilian sector. And I found that very deflating,
Okay.
because in the military, and particularly as an officer, you have people who are, the Navy advances through advancement examinations. And you're required to get the people who work for you ready for their advancement
Sure,
exams.
sure.
And the military is a move up or move out organization.
Mhm.
And for the first time, I started to find and encounter individuals who were happy doing what they were doing and didn't want to advance. And I
Mhm.
wasn't quite sure how to
How to handle
interact
that.
with those you're a mediocre performer and you're happy with that.
Sure.
I don't know
sure.
how to deal with it.
So how did you deal with it?
Very difficultly.
A few extra toddies here and there.
And probably, inappropriately tried to encourage them to be different from that,
Gotcha.
only to find out I did not have anything go to HR. But on the cusp of having that
Sure,
happen, it's
sure.
like you can't keep pushing me this way.
Right. Gotcha. Lori, let me ask you a question real quickly. How difficult was the transition for you as the spouse at home after he retired? There had to have been some changes in that for you to have to realize I know you traveled around the world together and had so many different addresses, but having him around now all the time, what was it like at home, having him home? That had to have been a transition for you.
It was easy. We had several ROTC units before retiring,
Okay.
and the fact that we didn't have to move. He went from one building to the other at ASU.
Okay.
Made it nice. The kids didn't have to be uprooted. We didn't have to do anything like that. So he went to the same place.
Right.
It was
At the
pretty
same
easy.
time, she's the one at my retirement ceremony from the Navy. When the retirement ceremony was over, she was the one that said, "I think I'm going to miss the moving around."
Really? But that becomes part of the routine after a while too, right? After as many times as
Yes.
you moved. So
17 mailing addresses during our 40 years of marriage. So you can do the math on that, almost one every 2 years
Jeez.
on average.
Frequent flyer miles must have been good. You could fly around the world free probably with all of this stuff. All right, before we get ready for our next break, real quickly, a couple of those bizarre questions. All right. Last question I ask you is about music. So picture this, if you will. You're driving in your car. You had a red light stops, okay? You got people waiting on both sides of you. Your favorite all-time music song comes on that you always sing karaoke to, whether you can carry a tune or not, doesn't matter. You don't care what there's other people seeing in the car. What song are you rocking out to in your privacy of your car, doing your own karaoke? Because we all have that song, that one song when it comes on. What is it?
Oh, it would have to be a Christmas time when
That's
that came
fine.
on. And
That's
it's
fine.
Elvis Presley's version of I'll Have a Blue Christmas Without You.
I'll
And that
have a
goes back to the
blue-
Navy time.
blue
Navy times and
Christmas.
the potential of being away during the holidays.
I bet. All right, fair enough. What's your favorite all-time vacation spot? Someplace you want to go that it's hard when you travel 17 different addresses.
I'm gonna cop out on this one.
Go ahead.
Any place the grandkids are.
That is a cop-out. Is there a place that you still want to go on vacation that you'd like to go see for him to take you?
Alaska.
Alaska. Go there or cruise to Alaska?
I'd cruise.
You
I'd
cruise.
do either.
Okay, take note of that.
You see different
Cruise.
things.
She's trying to put me back on a ship.
Oh, yeah. He'll want to run upstairs and drive this thing. Are you kidding me? Oh, my goodness. All right, that's good. What's your favorite? Give me your favorite all-time meal, starting from appetizer on down to dessert. What's your favorite type of appetizer?
Okay. Shrimp cocktail.
Okay, main course.
Main course. Probably ham.
Sides?
sides. Probably Thanksgiving dinner type sides. Sweet potatoes, green bean casserole,
Okay.
corn bake.
Yeah, casserole. Adult beverage? You have anything like a glass of
Well,
wine?
I did spend some time in Chile as naval attaché.
Right.
I do enjoy
Okay.
Chilean and Argentinian wines.
Favorite dessert at the end of the meal?
Cheesecake, New York
Plain?
style,
Plain.
with cherries on it.
Chocolate. Oh, chocolate. My wife makes a mean chocolate. Makes a mean cheesecake every year. So, all right. So that's that one. All right. So here you go. What is your favorite all-time vehicle, assuming you don't already have it, that you would like to see someday parked into your driveway?
I'm actually just in the process of getting my first pickup truck.
Really?
And
What
I'm
make and
looking
model are you
forward to
getting?
I actually purchased it from somebody who is moving over to Rota, Spain.
Oh, okay.
They're a service member. It's a Toyota.
Tell me it's navy blue.
It is blue. It's not navy blue.
Oh, okay.
It's a Toyota Tacoma.
Oh, okay. Very cool. All right. Hey, John, let's go to break. You're watching Iron's Hour. We come back. We're going to wrap up, ask a few more questions, and we're going to get out of here so we can enjoy the rest of the weekend. Iron's Hour. We'll be back right after this.
Your path to a meaningful career begins at Tidewater Community College. We're here to help you every step of the way, from application to financial aid, to helping you transfer to the four-year college of your choice, and even placement in in-demand careers. Whether you're looking to transition from the military, want to go part-time while you work, or make a full-time career change, TCC is here for you with multiple campuses throughout the region. Enroll today at Tidewater Community College. From here, go anywhere.
To reveal means to make something, secret or hidden, publicly or generally known. The phrase, covering the wound doesn't stop the hurt, can be applied to any situation and is based on individual experiences. This phrase is not a solution, but our goal is that it inspires you to acknowledge the wounds you've been covering far too long. These words are meant to help you to unlock your inner strength to begin the process of self-healing. Whether you like hoodies, t-shirts, hats, or jogger sets, go to reveal-llc.com now and order what you need to remind you that it's okay to rip off the Band-Aid to begin to heal.
Have you ever wanted to dress like a Hall of Fame broadcaster, but didn't know where to begin? In 2018, Aaron Phillips was inducted in the Las Vegas Entertainers Hall of Fame, and The Voice was born. Aaron has been part of many successful podcast programs, and branding those programs plays a vital role. Visit thevoice.qbstores.com and order the latest embroidered products featuring the logos of many of Aaron's shows. Discounts and flat shipping rates are available on all orders, regardless of quantity, on men's, women's, and kids' apparel, and many accessories. Visit thevoice.qbstores.com and let Aaron's voice speak to you.
Crazy Eddie. Where prices are insane. Never had a going out of business sale that never stopped. Did you ever notice that? Christmas in July. Prices are insane. Crazy Eddie. Anybody from that?
Just New York? Was he just?
He was just regional. New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. Yeah, he was. Yeah, you talk Crazy Eddie today with anybody else, you're like, who? So anybody up from New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, you know who Crazy Eddie is. Always had a Christmas sale in July, and he was always going out of business for about 20 years, having a going out of business sale. Anyway, good for him. I think the guy who did that, I don't think he's around anymore. I think he passed away years ago. Anyway, we're not here to talk about Crazy Eddie, but Crazy Eddie, you can send me a bill for promotion. All right. Retired Navy Captain Steve Borden's here. We're talking about the Tidewater Community College Center for Military and Veterans Education. See, boy, I made that look really good. Even though this is just green material back here, I could be a weatherman. Now there's cold front moving in over at Tidewater Community College. Okay. I got people from all over the world watching. Okay. Maybe not today. They may not walk into TCC today, but somebody knows somebody who knows somebody that's going to be in this position. Okay. If someone is interested in serving in the military today, what would you tell them?
I can tell them that they can start at TCC.
How?
We actually have an agreement
Really?
with the ROTC program with
Okay.
Old Dominion University. And if you're not quite ready for ODU yet, you can start at TCC, take classes there, and be involved with ODU's
Okay.
Naval ROTC program.
Right on. So you're not necessarily suggesting that they enroll right away, but go through the training program first. Is that what you're suggesting?
Yeah, or you can do your college first and then go through one of the officer candidate schools and go to
Okay.
the military. And again,
Okay.
we can help people walk through that journey too if they're interested in that.
Okay. I love it. I'm so, sometimes Where? Oh, looks like a question came in that John forwarded us. Where can we obtain a list of classes available?
You can find that online
TCC?
at tcc.edu.
There you go. And I know that there's a bunch of tabs and everything. So, John, can you put a crawl on there, please? tcc.edu, so people have the website available. Just check the drop-down menus for the classes and the programs and everything that's there. And by the way, if you're a basketball fan, TCC is starting a men's and women's basketball program for 25-26. So, you know what? That's another reason to get involved. And then in 26-27, they're bringing in women's volleyball. They're part of the NJCAA, the National Junior College Athletic Association. See, I'm doing my homework so I can become the voice of TCC basketball next year. But anyway.
And Aaron, you mentioned earlier
Yes,
that
sir.
we have online classes
Yes.
as well. So while our tagline is officially "From Here, Go Anywhere,"
Mhm.
I can tell you, because I've experienced it, from anywhere you can go here.
Oh, I love that. Does Naima know about that?
She
marketing
does.
department,
I've joked with Naima about that.
Oh, I
But,
love that.
We're involved with the U.S. Naval Community College right now. We have students who are attending TCC who are in Guam.
Okay.
I had a student, the very first year I was at TCC, I had a student contact me from Germany.
Okay.
They were in the process of taking their last class and were going to be graduating.
Wow. I love. So say it again. So normally it's from here, grow anywhere.
Go anywhere. But from anywhere, you can go here.
John, John, it's TCC, not CCC. TCC. John, you want to enroll in a class? Maybe. TCC.edu. I love that. I love that concept because it really is. That's one of the things that when I met with Chris and Naima at the very beginning of all of this, you know, with my reach across the globe, and I'm not trying to say that in any egotistical or diva-esque manner, but with the internet, the internet is your audience, you know, and I've been blessed with a great following that truly, anywhere you want to associate yourself with a class organization and a college that does it right to support not only their local community, but have extended that feeling across the internet itself. Check it out, tcc.edu. Seriously, I've grown enamored with the alumni group, so I interview the alumni folks. So you have Jennifer, you have Teg, who's the president of the Alumni Association. Now you and the folks at Naima and Chris who handle all the marketing. I'll tell you what, TCC is a class organization. Not taking anything away from ODU, and I have to say that because I know my daughter's watching. But the fact that you mentioned that there's working relationship,
Yes.
that's another great thing because TCC is part of 23 college programs as the level of the junior college.
Right.
Then you have ODU, the Monarchs, which is a traditional Division I 4-year campus, and you have a great
We
relationship.
have
with them.
a guaranteed transfer programs from TCC to so many colleges
Oh.
across Virginia.
I have goosebumps just thinking about the possibilities for anybody that wants to go back to continue their education, get another skill set. But just as important, and probably more importantly, is our military personnel here, not only in our local area, but of course anywhere around the globe that want. My buddy Rafi back there in Vegas, big wrestling geek, by the way, too. He and I will be texting tonight and tomorrow over wrestling. He gets wrestling too. It's WrestleMania this weekend back in Vegas, as you mentioned, but he's a very successful corrections officer back there in Vegas, and but smart as a whip, and he loves his education. He's a proud Army guy, and I just love him to death. And by the way, Chief, shout out to you. I saw your picture with Ric Flair yesterday. Also, one of my favorite retired Navy personnel. Chief, he was the one I was telling you I did the wrestling show
Right.
with. Chief, love you, buddy. Thinking of you. Anyway, all right. Before we go on to the last series of silly questions, I'm going to give you the microphone in the classic form of a wrestling promotion. Somebody out there is watching. Talk to them about maybe who's not sure what their next step is as they're winding down the military. Let's just talk
Sure.
passionately to the audience. Look right in the camera. It's your time to talk directly
right.
to them.
Well, my reminder to anyone out there in the military right now is it doesn't matter where you're serving. Thanks.
She's
It
a good
doesn't matter
good
where you're
production
serving,
assistant
whether
back
you're
there.
officer or enlisted or anything else. Your time in the service will come to an end. Even the Chief of Naval Operations is going to leave the Navy. Even the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff is going to leave. And so you really can't start planning for that any too soon. There are things you can do in the service in terms of taking care of education benefits that the Department of Defense has. The sooner you map out your plan and the better your plan is, the more likely you are to succeed. And part of that is simply because with a good plan, when something doesn't go the way you thought it was going to fit together, it's easy to bridge to something else. When you've got a weak plan A to begin with and plan A doesn't work, then you're really left out there And to use one of those Navy phrases, you're out in the boat and the oars are leaking. But, you know, so find somebody who has made this journey and is where you want to be 5 years from now, and figure out from them, how did they get there? And then, you know, look at your own skills and so forth and figure out what you need to do in order to do that.
Absolutely. And the best part is, if you're not sure how to do all that, he's right here.
We are right here.
So I have his office number. So jot this down. I'm actually going to put it into the chat room so that while we wrap up, John can drop it into the crawl as well. But you can give Steve a call direct at area code 757-822-7701. That's a direct line right to Steve in his office. Give him a call. If you're not sure where to start, listen, I'm sitting next to this guy, 30-year veteran of the military. He knows the stuff. And you know, folks, after doing this for nearly 20 years, I don't bring people on my shows that don't know their stuff. There's a reason why he is the representative of the industry with which we're talking about today. So give him a call with any questions you have. I will also tell you that he is on LinkedIn. So you can also find him on LinkedIn as well if you want to talk there with him. So by all means, if you're not sure what to do, where the next road will take you, please give Steve a call, and I know he will guide you the right way. All right, last couple of questions, then you're out. You're off the hot seat for today, Stephen. You've done very well so far. We'll see how you do with the rest of these questions, however. You ready?
All right.
Jeez. All right. We got your car, so we got that one, right? We got that one. All right. So here it is. Who's your favorite superhero, Batman or Superman? Now, just in case you need to think for a second, think on this now. If you need help coming up with the right answer, I too love to help people.
Yes.
So if you want to come up with the right answer and be invited back to my show,
I have to say it is Batman.
Oh,
yeah. Out of those two, Batman would definitely be the preference.
Why is that? People tell me Superman because he's got all the strength, and
I remember,
you know,
watching Batman on TV as a kid, had that little sign that said in living color. And I was so young at the time, I didn't understand why our TV wasn't giving it to us in living color. When it said it was in living
dead
color.
color.
It was black and white TV.
Right. So Adam West was your guy who juiced.
Absolutely.
Because there were Batman and Robin before Adam West.
Adam West.
When Adam West passed, a national holiday should have been declared, in my opinion, because you can see the pictures here in my studio, right? Right there. I had a picture. I was down in Orlando in October. And I'm in the Batmobile. I'll show it to you later. I'll send it to you. You can put it on your wall and everything too. All right, so Batman. All right, that's good. All right. This one if you want to pass on answering this one, I'll give you a pass.
By the way, when the bat signal goes up worldwide, it's the Navy that responds to that usually.
I love it. Because Batman had a great bat boat. So I can understand the connection there. So I love that. All right, here you go. You can choose to answer this one or not, but I'll give you it anyway. What's your favorite curse word of all time? And we are on the internet, so the FCC doesn't regulate me. Lori may regulate you. Your grandkids may regulate, but you can say it here if you choose to. What is your favorite all-time curse word, please?
She has heard this come from the garage. She hasn't heard it come from my shed yet, but woodworking every now and then, which is a favorite pastime of mine, right? or run your finger into a table saw. On nuts.
Really? That's it?
That's it.
That's it. On nuts. All right. What's it, like that old TV commercial where the lady, shut the front door? You know, like you expect to say something else, right? All right, on nuts. All right, very good. All right, last question. This is probably the only serious one, really, and of all of those that I ask. I think it's an important one. So this will happen many years down the line, so take it for what it's worth. When the day comes that you're standing at the pearly gates and the maitre d' is there to welcome you in, what do you want the maitre d' to say to you upon welcoming you into heaven?
It won't be the maitre d'. What I want to hear is, well done, good and faithful servant.
Perfect. All right. That's it. We're done. Go home. No, I'm only kidding. Thank you for coming in today, my friend. Pleasure spending time with you today. Seriously, check it out. Steve Borden, Director of the Center for Military and Veterans Education for Tidewater Community College, tcc.edu. Check out all the classes you have available. His phone number is scrolling on the bottom of the screen, 757-822-7701. Call him. You have questions, you're not sure where to turn? He's the guy right there. And if you can't get a hold of him for some reason, message me. I know enough people over there, if you know what I'm saying, that we'll get you to the right people. No, I'm only kidding. Thank you for coming in today, man. It was a blast learning to meet you. Your lovely wife over there. And we're all from Jersey. We're all roots in Jersey around in this studio. Next week, I know I have guests because I'm pre-recording with them next week. Off the top of my head right now, I don't even know what day is up. But check out my social media on Facebook. we'll be able to post it there. It's another nonprofit. I do know that. A couple of young ladies that I met at the wharf, Waterside, there was the Norfolk Flea Market was a couple of months back. Met these people there. It's a brand new nonprofit that helps, similar to what you do for veterans, but for mothers who are getting out of situations that don't have anything. So this is a nonprofit that just started a year ago. So that'll be next week on next Saturday's show. With that, everybody, listen, enjoy your Easter tomorrow. Enjoy your last day of Hanukkah, WrestleMania, whatever it is that you choose to do. Just please do it safely. And, of course, as always, be kind to everybody. Why? We are all we have. We'll see you next week right here on Aaron's Hour with Aaron Phillips. Thank you for watching, everybody.
Founded in 2021 by husband and wife duo Jason and Melissa Taylor, Rustic Reclaimed Design is a small business proudly owned by a woman and disabled Navy veteran. Rustic Reclaimed Design specializes in custom handmade and laser engraved products. By combining craftsmanship and creativity, Rustic Reclaimed Design delivers unique, high-quality items. Whether it is a personalized gift, something for the home, or a custom design, their mission is to create a piece that brings your vision to life. Visit us on Facebook by searching Rustic Reclaimed Design. Send an email to sales@rusticreclaimdesign.com or simply call 757-567-2790. Rustic Reclaimed Design is where we craft connections one unique piece at a time. It seems like the cost of keeping the lights on goes up way too often. Do you wish there was something you can do to control the energy costs in your own home to keep the lights on? I want you to Think Energy. Think Energy has partnerships across the country that takes advantage of solar farms. Solar farms actually reduce the dependency on your local electric company by having part of your electricity actually come from these solar farms, which in turn reduces your costs. To learn more, contact Preston Pearson by dialing 229-291-8329 or send an email to cp3foralltime@gmail.com. There is no better time to think energy.